Hey guys, back again. So how did you go with the last two videos and the exercises we did with the inner child? Now hopefully you have done that and you've been doing that, and I just wanted to we are going to do another exercise at the end of this video and we'll finish with that, but before we do that I just wanted to ask you a few questions about how it went. Have you noticed any shifts, any changes? Have you felt calmer, more relaxed, more peaceful? Is it really uncomfortable when you check in? Just do a bit of reflecting, being able to reflect back and look and express what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how it's impacting you is really important during the process of any kind of therapy. And so just take a moment to see if you notice any changes. What was it like for you to do those exercises? Was it confronting? Was it painful? Was it hard? Was it really uncomfortable? And if it was, that would be really normal because you haven't really done this before. You know, we've all been taught to be very objective, look outside at the outside world, at others, and to actually go in and look inside is incredibly painful at times, challenging, but ultimately very rewarding because you're the most important person, and in a way you're the only one that can ever know and understand you. And I hear that so much, you know, I just want people to understand me, and I often think, no, you actually don't. You want other people to understand you because you don't understand you. And so this is about learning to, there's a saying, inner stand. You know, you understand, you inner stand yourself. And so you know what floats your boat. You know what makes you mad, what triggers you, what, makes you feel alone, scared, vulnerable, or what makes you feel light and free and excited about life. And you have to be very discerning, and I think that's the best word to use, because I don't think a lot of us realise, when we're spending hours on the internet, scrolling through stuff, I don't always think we know what it's doing to us internally or how it's really feeling. And when you know yourself deeply, you can check in with yourself in the moments that you're doing those things. I often find it quite intriguing how people can watch really horrific stuff, like on films and videos, and constantly playing games where they're killing people and it's blood and guts, and they're not impacted at all emotionally. They seem to be very disconnected from their emotional selves in terms of, they're up in their heads playing a game. But actually, your imagination is really powerful. It's the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal of tools. And if you can disconnect while you're doing some of that stuff, then I don't think that's a good thing. I actually think that's not a good thing, because you have to disconnect, because you can't really, if you really imagine killing people in those games, or some of the stuff that people watch on YouTube or all the other platforms, then they wouldn't be able to, because it would hurt them. And I realised when I started to get really well, I literally just could not watch some of that stuff. It hurt me too deeply, because I was very connected to myself in a deep way. And so I think that's a good gauge sometimes, what are you able to watch? And if you are unable to watch things, then a lot of people go, must be a wimp or something. And actually, no, I'm just really connected to myself. And you know what? I don't need to put myself through that really disturbing, uncomfortable situation. Life's bad enough, really, isn't it, without actually doing that. So hopefully you've been practicing and doing it, and it's impacting on you. And I suppose I want to point out, it's not always in a way that you might think. You might find yourself not being able to watch some of the stuff you watched before, take part in some of the things you've done before, be with people that you are used to being with. So this is where that, change is not always easy. I think it does impact on us, and it helps us wake up and be aware maybe some of the things we're doing that aren't really working for us in the long term. And so a waking up journey is never an easy one, because you might actually not want to spend time with people. You might realise some people aren't that great, or they don't make you feel good, and actually they make you feel very heavy and dense, and they take a lot of energy from you. And that's a good gauge. Are you feeling light? Are you feeling energised? And I think that's a good telltale sign. And you can only tell that when you're connected to that part of you. And we call it the inner child, but it's the emotional part of you. It's the torso part of you. That's where you tend to feel that stuff. So today, we're going to do another exercise. Now, I have done this in another video, and I called it acceptance of emotions. And I just want to do it again, just to help you connect in a different way. So there was the floor work that we did, where we were the two parts, the parent and the child, and we spoke to each other. We did it in your imagination. We imagined you were the grown-up part you are today, and we spoke to the child part. And today we're going to do it in a slightly different way, because I think you need to give people options. Not everything works for everybody, and it's nice to have some options around that. Is there anything else I want to share before we move on to that part? I think ultimately, I want to help people face themselves, face their children, their child, their teenager, whatever part of you it was that maybe it's when you really struggled or went through a lot of trauma. Face it, because when you face it, you have to own it, take responsibility for it. You can't keep running away from it. So face it, embrace it, yeah? And then you feel it and you heal it. For me, this is it. And I think it's the most courageous thing we ever do. You know, so many of us want to run and don't ever want to look back. And I don't believe in looking back at the specifics of what happened to you. If you were brutally raped, for example, I don't want people to look back at that experience. But I think what I want to help people do is to look back at the part of you that had that experience. Not what happened to you, but you, that part of you that felt scared, alone, terrified, vulnerable, helpless, and go and rescue that part of you and bring you back home to self. And that takes a huge amount of courage. Or it might not have been one off thing, it might have been that everyday little thing that happens, you know, death by 1,000 cuts, you know, every little day when someone ignored you or, you know, betrayed you or resented you or hurt you or called you names. And so it might not be one huge moment, but it might be lots of tiny little moments that all add up. So we call that complex trauma. The small T's, we call a one-off event PTSD, complex trauma, PTSD. And so that's the difference. A lot of us can't pinpoint one moment because it was lots of little moments every single day for years and years. And so face it, embrace it, feel it and heal it. And I think that's what I want to help people do, because what's the alternative? To run away, find solace in an addiction of sorts. So I just want you, we're going to spend a few minutes. Now you can take this as long as you like. So you could stop it. I'm going to do probably a shorter version, but you could make this last half an hour. And so obviously I want to take you through the process so you can practice this, but you can take your time. So just pause the video whenever you want, and just take your time to stay where you're at in that moment, okay? So play whatever you want to. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. Excuse me. So I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to breathe into your body. So just notice the breath going into your body, all the way down into your bottom of your stomach as you breathe in and breathe out. Just gently coming into a sense of breathing in and breathing out, and just allow your shoulders to drop down and your whole body just to relax. Just relax your whole body as you breathe in and breathe out. And just going to focus down into the breath. I want you to focus down into your torso, and what we're going to look for is any kind of sensation. We're not looking for a feeling or an emotion, we're looking for a sensation. So for example, the sensation might be fluttering in your chest, a heaviness in your heart, might be a knot in your belly. It could be anything. Just be curious. Go down into your body and just notice. You really have to push down. If you get up into your head, then keep pushing down into your body and just notice any sensations. It could be a tension right in the middle of your body where your heart is. And as you go down, maybe you didn't notice it before, but as you go down into your body, you're noticing those sensations. It could be more than one sensation. And so choose a sensation that you notice, whatever it is. It could be nothing. So choose that. Choose the nothingness. Choose the emptiness. Doesn't matter what it is. Just pick a sensation that you're going to focus on even more as we do this exercise. And I'm going to ask you a few questions as you focus down. And you're just going to make a mental note of the answers. So as you go down into your body and you notice that sensation, I want you to tell me, how big is that sensation? For example, is it taking up a lot of room? Is it big, like a ball? Is it like a cloud? Or is it like more intense, like a small thing, like a marble or a cricket ball? Just get a sense of the size of it and the shape of it. Or maybe it's all jaggedy around the edges. Or maybe it's like a brick. So just put a size to it and maybe see if you can see if it's got the sharp edges or it's more cloud-like and fluffy. Just really see if you can notice. And what we're doing is we're objectifying it. We're looking at it as an object. So it's big, it's small, it's cloud-like, it's more round. Just do the best you can. And I want you to notice how deep inside it is. Or is it more on the surface of your body? So where is it located inside your body? Now if you need more time to focus, just pause, come back when you've focused and noticed and got some idea of where it is, what shape it might have, how deep it is. And so now I want you, once you've located it and sort of objectified it somewhat, I want you to breathe into it and just see if you can allow it to be exactly as it is. You don't have to like it or want it, but I want you to allow it to be exactly as it is. And I want you to imagine that with every breath you take, your whole body opens up around that sensation. Not to get rid of it. And we're not trying to change it. That's not the goal. The goal is just to make some room for it. Soften up and just allow it to be exactly as it is. I want you to put your hand on that place where it is. So maybe it's up here, or maybe it's down there. Maybe you need two hands. And put your hand on where you're feeling that sensation the most. So you're breathing into it, you're allowing it to be exactly as it is. And I want you to notice it, watch it, follow it, keep looking and noticing the size, the shape, where it is. I want you to put your hand on it just to help you focus where it is. And I want you to see, is it moving about, that object, or is it very still? Is it heavy? Is it light? So what you're doing is you're finding out all about it. You're noticing it, watching it, being curious about it, allowing it to be there, breathing into it, opening up around it. Is it cold or hot? Is it lukewarm? And you're holding it. Now I want you to imagine you're holding something so precious, so wonderful. And I want you to imagine you feel the warmth of your hand moving into that sensation. Not to get rid of it, not to change it. Just to open up and allow it to be exactly as it is. So you're watching it, you're noticing it, you're being curious about it. You're breathing into it and imagining your whole body's opening up around it. You're noticing everything about it. The size, the shape, heavy or light, hot or cold, moving or still. And you're holding it gently and tenderly, and you're feeling the warmth of your hand moving into your body. And I want you just to breathe into this place and allow this just to be exactly as it is. Now let me say, you don't have to like or want those sensations, but I do want you to allow them to be there. So maybe you just do this for a minute. So maybe pause the video and just stay there, practicing all of that just for a minute. So you've been practicing that for a minute and you're back. Now I want you, the last thing I want you to do is speak to it gently and tenderly. And what I mean by that is I want you just to follow my lead and just say to that sensation, it's okay for you to be there. I'm here for you and I love you. And everything's going to be okay. I've got this. You're safe. And it's over now. Now you can say anything you want, anything you think that sensation needs to hear, but along the lines of what I said. I'm here for you. I love you. Everything's going to be okay. So you're reassuring it. You're telling it it's safe. Everything's going to be okay. What you're doing is you're creating a safe space for that sensation to be there. The very opposite of perhaps what you've been doing or what you've been taught for the most part of your life. So this is about you coming into a different kind of relationship with the sensations in your body. And so we're going to do it all at the same time. We're going to notice it and watch it. Breathe into it and allow it. Hold it. Notice it. Feel the warmth of your hand moving into your body. And we're going to speak to it very gently, very lovingly, very like almost a whisper inside your mind. It doesn't have to be out loud. It can be just inside your mind. And we're just going to do that. I want you to do all of that just for the next minute. So pause the video and come back after a minute. So now you're back, and I want you just to breathe deeply. Notice maybe that sensation got smaller or bigger. So just bring some curiosity. Sorry, I didn't ask you what colour it might have been. And if it was a colour, what colour was it? Did that colour change? Did it get hotter or colder? Did it slow down or move faster? Did it get bigger, deeper, heavier? What did you notice about that object that you imagined? And just breathe into it, allow it. And just for a moment, we went deep inside. And now I want you to drop your hand. I want you to focus all your attention on the floor beneath your feet and the chair beneath your body. Notice the noises inside and outside of the room. And very slowly, open your eyes, bring your attention to the outside world. Look around the room, just reorientate yourself back inside the room where you are. Well done. Well done. Great job. That's not always easy to do. So, what was that like for you? Was it hard? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Was it uncomfortable? Did you cry? Did you not feel anything? What happened to the sensations at the beginning and then at the end of that exercise? Did the sensation shift? Get bigger, get smaller, get lighter? Just reflect on that. What happened? Just take some time. Spend some time. Sometimes that's easier than meditation. Meditation is quite hard. But getting to know yourself, that is another way of getting to know that child. We see the sensations, the emotions are the child. So the sensations are part of your body and they require looking after, and the only person that can look after them is you. And so we kind of want to offload that to others sometimes. We want to give them the responsibility of looking after our emotions, but it's nobody else's responsibility but your own. And I'm telling you, when you practice and do that, you feel empowered. You feel, because you've faced it, you've embraced it, you've felt it, and then you can heal it. It's very powerful. Acceptance of emotions comes from ACT therapy. So this isn't something I made up. This is something I learned on my journey of study for all those years. And I love ACT therapy. Is very, very brilliant theory to work with. But well done. That's not easy. I'm so proud that you got to do that, and stick with it. Just practice it. You can practice this every minute of every day. Every time you go out, you don't have to put your hand here. Don't have to be that obvious, but just focus down and notice as you sit with someone, what's happening inside of you. As you watch something on the TV or play a game, what is actually going on with you? If you're down the pub and you're with your mates, what is actually happening inside of you? If you're feeling light and free, or are you feeling heavy, worried? Is there a heaviness about watching certain things or being with certain people? Do you feel like some people seem to take energy? You won't know that until you sit in that space in your body. And so this is a great tool to practice while you're sitting at work, any time of the day, while you're in the shower, any time of the day. Just tap in, notice how you feel. Be curious about yourself. If you're not going to be, who else is? Anyway, that went on quite a while. But obviously you can stop at any time, come back, practice it. If you need a helping hand, you need a voice, put your earphones in and just practice that. Until you get so good that you don't need that, you just do it all on your own. Well done. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.